We all have things to work on when it comes to our singing voices. For the longest time, my biggest struggle as a singer was knowing that I wanted to be better, but having no idea how to actually get better. I knew that I wanted a stronger, more powerful voice. I knew that when I was singing, I could go, ah, and then it would flip and I would lose power, but I didn't know why, and I certainly didn't know how to fix it. In my case, I thought that in order to get that powerful voice, I just needed to sing louder, push harder, which was the exact opposite of what I needed to do. What I needed to do was relax and do some freedom exercises and then return to developing strength in my voice. Not knowing that cost me time, money, and my emotions. I got really stressed out and I got frustrated. So this video is to help prevent that from happening to you. We're gonna dive into some vocal 10s, that's what I like to call them, so that you can learn what your unique vocal type is and then be empowered to go do the work and the exercises that you need to do in order to become the best singer that you can be. We've got 4 types to look at here: the yeller, the choir singer, the flipper, and the blender. So let's dive in. Okay, so the first type we're looking at is the yeller, or in other words, the chest puller. So this kind of singer is very comfortable being loud. So they might sing, somewhere over the rainbow. They tend to be belty and strong, and that's amazing. It also comes with a little bit of a challenge because you can only sing in that strong chest voice sound to a certain point before your voice naturally needs to sort of transition and let some other muscles, which are involved with something we call head voice, join the party. So what ends up happening with chest pullers a lot of the time is you're like, you get pulley and tense, and it starts to sound not so good. So the main goal for a chest puller or a yeller is to learn to balance, to back off a little bit and discover something called head voice, which might feel foreign. So if this is your type, do this with me. Woo! And that might be like, what, that's so loud, what's happening? But do it again, woo! That feeling where the sound goes from resonating here, to here, woo! That's your head voice. And you need to access that space in order to sing with balance from your lowest notes to your highest notes. And it's a journey, it's a process, it's gonna take work. But one of the first steps that you can take towards that is just spending some time doing those vocal slides. Start high, go woo, and slide back up, woo. Another one of my favorite exercises for people that are really, really strong in their chest voice but are struggling to kind of get past that is singing the word woof. So think ooh, woof. And you could do an exercise like this. Woof, 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 woof. It feels ridiculous. Woof, 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 woof. You don't want to muscle it. You don't want woof, 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 woof. You want it to be free. Woof, 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 woof. And that freedom is what's gonna help you to establish the balance that you need. And eventually you'll be able to add a little more and a little more and a little more to all of those notes till suddenly you wake up one day and you're singing way up high and you're not straining and it doesn't feel bad and it sounds amazing. So that's a couple things that you can look at doing right now if your tendency is to be a bit of a yeller when you sing. Now, if you need more, we've got absolutely everything covered in the Singeo method. We'll link that up here for you below. Okay, so our next type is the choir singer, or somebody that might struggle to find their chest voice. So I might also call this no chest voice. Now, what this means is when you sing, you tend to be very light and breathy and airy, and you might struggle to really get strong, powerful notes when you sing. So if I refer back to that first type once more, where we talk about the yeller, we might sing a little 5-note scale like this. Ah. Somebody who is a choir singer or has no chest voice might sing it like this. Ah. So you can hear the difference. Now the goal is balance. The goal is to be able to sing from your lowest note to your highest note without a loss of power, sounding like you're really connected to every single note. You're not shouting, you're not too light, you're just right. You are in control of the amount of energy and intensity of each and every note. So that's the goal. Now, if you struggle to find your chest voice, if you are the choir singer type, you want to work on exercises that help you connect. So my favorite way to do this is with a really ugly sound like this. So stick out your tongue and do this. Ah, ah, ah. Now, if you're not used to being loud, that's gonna feel a little bit crazy, but just bear with me and do it one more time. Ah, ah, ah. Now, we can practice a scale. We can go ah, 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 ah. Don't be afraid if it feels loud and strong. This is what we're working on. Ah, 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 ah. I'm not shouting. I'm allowing my voice to just be a little bit creaky, and I'm singing each note super short. Like I'm not going ah, ah, ah. I'm not straining. I'm just touching the notes. Ah, 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 ah. And I can just keep on going like that. Ah, 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 ah. One more. Ah, 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 ah. So, you've got this for you below. You can practice along with the piano, singing that ugly ah, ah, ah sound. And that's gonna help you to connect to and find that chest voice. All right, our next type is the flipper. Not like the dolphin, but sort of like when we sing, we get this crack or this flip or this yodel. A really good demonstration of this would be Sarah McLachlan. In the arms of the angel, fly away. Right, you hear that? Fly away. It's connected and then it's disconnected. And that's kind of what happens when you are a flipper. Now, you'll notice this is your type if when you're singing, you're good, you're balanced, you're not shouting, you've got power, and then suddenly you lose your voice. So maybe it would be like this, somewhere, right? Did you hear that disconnect? If I were singing that 5-note scale I played earlier, like this, ah, that was with balance. Here's what it would sound like if I were a flipper. Ah. You see, I kind of lose control there and it gets a little bit dicey. So this comes down to being able to balance from your low note to your high note, getting the muscles that engage when you're singing in chest voice and the muscles that engage when you're singing in head voice to cooperate. This can be a little bit difficult. So one of my favorite ways to practice this is with an exercise on the vowel consonant combination of B. So it's a B with a UH, and it's got kind of like this dopey lowered larynx. Your larynx is that thing that your vocal cords live inside of, that bump on your throat. So if you swallow, you'll feel it move up and down, and if you go you'll feel it move down slightly. So if you say B and practice just a simple B, 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 little arpeggio like that. B, 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 B. You don't want to muscle it, B, 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 because then you'll lose your connection. But if you're consistent, B, 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 you'll get it. Now, if you're still flipping when you're practicing this, try gug, G-U-G. Gug, 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 gug. That G's a little grabbier. Gug, 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 gug. Now, the biggest thing to notice is that when you're singing those higher notes, they're gonna feel different in your body. But that doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. Higher notes are gonna feel different than lower notes because the place that you feel them in your body is different. So don't freak out if you go gug, 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 and you're like, wow, the top one felt a little different than the bottom ones. Just roll with it. As long as it wasn't gug, 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 as long as it wasn't that, you're doing it right. So we'll do one more. Gug, 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 gug. And that's a great first step toward helping to balance and smooth out those voices that like to flip. Now finally, we've got the blenders. Now, being a blender is a great place to land because that means you can sing from your lowest note to your highest note without any disasters. You're not shouting, you're not losing power, you're not flipping or cracking. You've just got this voice that's balanced. Some singers just come by that naturally and others have to work really hard to get to the point where they are a blender. But that doesn't mean the work is over for you. So if you can sing with ease from your low note to your high note, that's an exciting time because that means you get to start developing more strength, power, dexterity, and control in your voice. One of my favorite exercises to begin to develop that strength and increase my capacity as a blender is the octave double repeat. So it's gonna sound like this. Na 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 na. So I'm repeating that top note a bunch of times, and the second sort of pattern of 3, I'm becoming louder. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, louder, and back down. And I'll sound like this. One more time. Na 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 na. And I'll just keep going. Na 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 na. So I absolutely love that exercise just to kind of help build my capacity so that as I, spend time on this, my voice just becomes stronger and stronger and higher and more balanced. Couple other things you can focus on if you are a blender is just texture and quality. So are you able to achieve vibrato? Are you able to sing with dynamics? Can you be louder and then softer and then louder and then softer without, a flip, a crack, or a break, or all those other things that we work on balancing as we develop our voices? So there's a lot that you can look at and focus on as a blender. Whew. Okay, so those are the 4 tens twos. I want to repeat, none of these are negative. And in fact, you can kind of find that you experience these tendencies or these challenges, all of them, at different times through your week, your month, your life. I know that I've worked really hard. I started as a chess puller. I worked really, really hard to become a blender. And now, still to this day, some days I wake up and I'm like, oh geez, well, you're pulling chess. You gotta do those freedom exercises. And other days I wake up and I'm like, why can't I get grounded? And I need to work on some of those more chest voice focused routines. So it's a moving target. And I think the most important thing to take away is that you got to just learn to feel your own voice, figure out where you're at today, and then work on things like we've gone through in this video, like we have for you in the Singeo method, that are going to help you to achieve that balance and move you toward your goals. Always be kind to yourself. Know that this is always a work in progress. There's always room for improvement. There's always room for development. And the journey is amazing. So comment below. Let me know, what do you think your type is? And I'll see you around.